Hi guys, today I want to make another use for toilet paper roll. So grab your ruler, show you what I'm going to make. We're going to make a little jewelry box. And with my ruler I just made a really nice straight edge, and I'm cutting down that toilet paper edge. Now, what I'm going to do is now, with my board to do the creases, I don't know what at the moment. Of course, my brain is not. I'm just going to go down and form a crease. And just be careful not to tear it. And you'll see that sometimes there's little corners sticking up. You could just re-glue those after. So make a nice crease, just like that. Now make sure you have two of the same toilet paper rolls if you're not cutting it ahead of time. I didn't do that. You just gotta trace your toilet paper roll and make a couple of circles. So you just trace your circles for the end of your toilet paper roll. Best you can, of course. If you can find something that's exactly the same circumference, that is more reliable on staying the same shape, that'd be great. And you cut them out. So after you have them cut out, I would glue them inside the very edge, and they kind of came out a little on the oval-y side, and I would just kind of use that to my advantage and put it in sideways, like ovally. Now I'm going to add my tacky glue. I'm rather use tacky glue than hot glue for this part because I'm not going to have any hot glue sticking out, and the tacky glue I could just kind of rub in. And for me, I mean, you could use hot glue. For me, that's my theory, is I can just do it right, I think, and rub in the tacky glue, and you'll see a whole bunch of glue on the inside. And I'm just going to use my brush and brush that in so it's smooth. And with the hot glue I would have a bunch of glue sticking up, or glue plopping kind of over. You just always do with a little bit of hot glue. But for this, because I'm not sure if I want to put paper in there or paint it, I just want it to look really nice and crisp and clean. So it's going to have to be held, yes, but that's okay. So then I'm going to do both sides. Now this is the part where you're going to test the circles, and they're going to be a little bit bigger because you traced on the outside, so you can see that. And then you might want to just trim them up a bit. And I'm just going to pull I'm just going to trim them up to make them fit better. You could try, you could trim them up. It's just in case they don't fit better. You could probably trace a better job of it than I did. But it's sometimes hard to draw the exact circle of a toilet paper roll. It's one of those things that kind of just moves on you. So but it's not a container that needs to be sealed shut, like you know, so it can be a little bit of gaps, but you don't want like a huge gap in front. So just like that, and it's almost there. I think I'll trim it up just a little bit more. So after you have it trimmed up, and you should be able to, and like I said, now it's kind of like almost eye shape, but that's okay because now you have it where it can close, and it's perfect. So you can't possibly trim it probably to the right way until you get it on there, and you just keep doing that. But it's really not a hard thing to do. So now the next part, to get it to stand. So this part's really up to what you want. You could paint over the beads that you wish to choose for standing on. So whatever color you think and whatever style you want to be able to match the bead to that kind of style. So if you got like a round bead, it'd be easier to make like a little shabby chic box. That kind of thing. It pretty much would go into any style. You can go with like different shapes of beads if you want. And there's even longer legs, so you can have nice longer legs. So it's really depends on what you want. So it's this, I don't know if you guys can see the legs like that. For the heck of it, I think I'm going to try the longer ones like this, and you can paint over them. There's also, you can use, these are just totally a whole bunch of different beads. You can use cube beads, and there's cat beads for the cat lovers out there. You could totally make this into a really fun, crazy box. You even have like different shapes like stars. That would be cute little legs on there. It just depends on what you want. So I'm going to put these ones on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look, say this is, you know, you can measure it. I'm just estimating. I'm kind of thinking where I want my beads. You can eye it too. I'm going to eye it a little bit and then try to see how it, you know what, it's kind of perfect. So every toilet paper roll is a little bit different size too, and that, so I don't really want to mess you up with size. Some of them are a little bit larger. And I think that's good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try it, and I could always move it. And you could cover it up with paper and that kind of stuff first too, or you could just paint over it. So, and I'm just going to quickly put these beads on, and I'm going to do them really fast like this. So, really quickly. And they're going to be quite split, but that's going to be really nice look, I think. And if I don't like it, I can always remove it. If you do put paper on it, you just got to be kind of careful, because the when you tear off your bead, just be very careful to hold with your nail the glue down and not to tear the paper. Then you can kind of work the glue off the paper, because that's kind of, you know, you work so hard to get the paper on there nice, and then you tear something off and you tear the paper. So now I have this cute little container like this. It's perfect. So I have the paint. I'm going to go brown first. I want to crackle it, and then I'm going to go silver. I'm know those seem like odd colors, but to me that's what I feel like doing. So, just grabbing my paintbrushes. So I'm just going to cover up the surface with the brown. I'll paint a little bit of it here now, just because. I'm going to start off with the legs because I'm going to need another layer, but I am doing the crackle over it because I want the crackle brown to come through. I know it sounds like an odd color. We'll see how it works out with silver, or maybe even gold. I think I might even do gold on top. We'll see. So I'm going to paint the whole thing brown. And yes, I could put gesso on it, but I've been avoiding using my gesso because I don't want to shake it and shake it and shake it. So that's the only reason. So just keep putting your brown on, or whatever layers color you want. You can do teal. Teal's really beautiful. I did a fluorescent pink crackled with teal on top. Turned out great. So I did a nice layer of brown. I'm just going over it again. Not that I need to, but I did put too much paint out, so I'm going to and make it nice and rich and enjoy it. It's kind of peaceful, so I'll paint and just continue doing what I'm doing. It is nice and peaceful to do this, paint. As long as you're not painting walls. I don't know. I find that a lot of work. But there we go. Nicely, totally covered. And I did want to get a second coat on the legs, so it's good. Now the paint might make it a little bit weak, so what I did was I put another toilet paper roll in there just to let it dry, and make sure it's the same size roll so it's not breaking what you have, and it'll just sit in there for your paint to dry. Just because it will warp, because you're wetting the paper in the roll, so it's just to help it keep it more strength to it. And then when you're ready, you can paint on anything. So you don't have to do crackle. I'm just doing crackle, but you can do whatever. You can do white and do paper, whatever. So, it's open to whatever you want. I'm going to put my crackle on, though. Also, when you have a little roll in there, it gives you a little bit of a helping hand and something to hold on to. So just put your crackle paint, if you're doing crackle, on, and try not to go over it too much. That's one of the instructions they have on there, is not to go over it too much. You just want to put it on and let it dry, and then you put your next layer of paint on. And you're not supposed to like fuss about how you put it on. You're just supposed to put it on. And it's quite thick, but that's because I'm not going over it too much. Don't want to overdo it. And whoops, I got a little brown in my crackle. And now you just go on the edges. Like I said, the other toilet paper roll here helps not only hold it straight, but give it something to hold on to. And you gotta let that dry. Okay, letting it dry. It's almost dry here. The brown. I left a couple of thick spots in the bottom, but now I'm going to add my gold. I decided gold is best, hoping that this brush is not too contaminated, and I'm just going to go over it with gold. I'm painting the gold on. I love this gold paint. It is Luminaire. And I love it. Went to the art store with my daughter Charity, and she helped me pick out the gold. So now I'm just gonna finish up the ends. Yay! I love this color. I'm glad I went gold. Let's see how this crackle works. It was very old, so let's see if it's still doing good. And you know what? You can cover it with whatever. So now I'm just going to start drying it with my heat tool. I know I'm probably not supposed to do that, but I do that anyway. Nice thing too about having the roll in there is that it's just nice enough to hold with something when you're drying. You can still dry. It's crackling. I noticed too with the heat tool that it's bubbling up a bit, so you just got to do it at a distance, but that's okay because I like that texture. Yeah, metallics do that, so I'm just going to continue drying it. So you guys can see that drying it with the heat tool made it look quite cool, like a metallic box, and I'm liking that. I'm going to show you guys a little bit. See how it bubbles it up. So yeah, it didn't quite crackle as well as I has in the past, but the last time I used this crackle was like 2 years ago, so it's quite old because it wasn't new then. So, and it worked better then, and I did use the same technique where I dried the paint, and then with my heat tool, and then went over it and then dried it again, so it did work. So this time it's not because I'm using the heat tool, it's just because I think that the crackle is really old and it doesn't want to work properly. That's the only reason I could think. I put it on nice and thick, and I didn't brush it. So now my next step would be to grab some black ink and just rub a little bit of black ink over it. Just very little. Just a very little black ink as possible. I'm kind of probably getting too much. If you have that rub and buff, that would work really nice too. I'm probably putting too much on. Rub some off. Get the edges a bit. With the crackle, it would have shown a little bit of a nice coffee brown through, the dark brown. It's not really showing too much, but that's okay. Yeah, I would do this with the rub and buff or something if you had. I don't have, so I'm just kind of improvising, and what I could do with black paint too, but whatever. Oh, I just rubbed some of that gold off. My leg wasn't dry. You could always go over with the gold just a bit to lighten up any of the black. And it's going to mix nice, so I have not done that mistake before where I went too much black. I know how to fix it. And the nice thing is too, you can dry it and give a nice different, it'll bubble up a little bit different. So that's that. You guys could put flowers on it, lace, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys like this little vid on how to make this little box right here. Now this is just the beginning of it, like part 1. I'm going to make a second video on the decorating of it, but I would suggest to it's so delicate right now, and I would suggest to let it dry overnight. Just the paint will stiffen and cure and everything's going to look really nice. A couple ways to close it too is you can use magnets, you could have ties, a little hook, something very light. You don't want to overpower the box and make it too heavy. But anyways, for now, this is part 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this little part here, and we will continue in the next video. Thanks guys, talk to you later, bye bye.